Hello, my name is Gabriel from Gabaki USA. In this video we're going to show you how to change the Gorilla Glass. As you can see, the phone is broken, so the touch works fine as you can see, but it's broken here. So we are going to turn it off and then we are going to remove the battery. Once we have done that, we're going to use this piece of metal that I took from a computer case. We're going to use this heat gun, a swift knife, cord, and then we're going to proceed heating up all the screen. Try not to overheat it, so it should not be over 100 degrees, as you can see here, Celsius. So we are going to change it. Celsius here is 24, so it never should be above 100. Just remember, so it should not be cold. It has to be around 80 to 100. If it gets cold, just warm it up again with the heat gun. Okay, great. You have to be very careful with the flex. That is why I use this little end here to lift it up a little bit and then use the car to remove the rest. Just be very careful not to put the car over the flex. Almost done this part, as you can see. So now we can apply just a little bit more of heat here. We're going to measure. Okay, now we're going to lift it up very carefully. Great. we have done the fragile part. The most difficult part is this one, because if you ruin it, you messed it up the whole screen. You have to replace it completely. So now we have to warm up here a little bit. Okay, great. Once that we have accomplished that, we can warm it up here a little bit more. Okay, the perfect temperature. Now we can use the knife to lift it up just little by little. Right. Now that this part is accomplished, we have to clean the whole screen. Try to remove the shutter part here, as you can see. Be careful, don't cut yourself. Now here you can use the plastic tool just to remove the last part. That might be difficult. Remember, remove that. Now we have to remove the little pieces of glass so you won't cut yourself. Try to use a towel just in case if something is leaking, or like when you put the glue, or maybe a little piece of glass is easier to wash it and to not mess up the table. Now we are going to use this kind of alcohol. Very little will be enough to clean up the whole screen. Okay, here we have a little piece of glass. Just be very careful when you clean this part. If you can, try not to touch the flakes, that would be great. Okay, now we can use a cloth, or if you have a blow dryer or some blower, electrical blower, you can clean it that way too. So before going ahead, we're going to turn it on and see if it works. If it works, nothing got damaged, we are going to start putting the glass. At least for now, it seems to be fine. Okay, the screen looks that it works. It's kind of slow, this phone, but that is the way it is. So the buttons works fine. Configuration, menu, the home button. Okay, home button. Okay, now we're going to clean it up a little bit more, and then we're going to proceed to put the UV glue, and we're going to use a new glass replacement. You can use this glue if you can. This one is the best one, so I prefer to use this one if I can. Sometimes I mix a little bit. I put like here with this one because it's close to the camera. If the glue gets in touch with the camera, it's easier to remove this one, and this one just for the buttons. Okay, now that we have finished cleaning up the whole screen, here we have the replacement. So we're going to take it out sometimes, but before than that, we should remove the frontal camera that we have here and the sensors, if that is possible, because if some glue goes in that place, it will not look pretty. So we're going to remove all the screws here. Okay, we have removed that. Now it might be a little bit difficult here because we have to remove here the logic board. We have to remove all the connectors here on this side, in this part too. As you see here, we have to use a knife to remove the speaker here, the ear speaker. We have to unglue it. Because the bad part about this kind of cell phone is that this solder in that side. So you can see, I'm going to put this in here so it won't stick on the towel. Now we have like a connector here that connect the motherboard with the screen. We have to do a little bit of force just to unplug it. And almost done. You see, we have to do a little bit of force to undo the ear speaker. Great, we have removed the whole thing, so we will leave it out. And now, as you can see, we don't have the frontal camera and either the sensor, so we can work better that way. Okay, now that we have finished that, we can just remove the little dust that we might have, and that's it. So now we can use the glue. I like to use this kind of glue. This one is one of the best, just for this part, for the top part, and for the lower we're going to use the regular one. We're going to draw like a fork here. Okay. I do this because this dries faster than this one, and if some glue comes on this part, it will be easier to remove. Instead, this one, it doesn't dry almost like never, because here you will have like the paint of the glass, so where the UV light doesn't touch the glue, it will not dry. So that is one of the reasons. And with this one, we can use it here because if some glue goes under the bottom, it will be easier to remove, and it will not dry like the other one because the other one becomes like a rock. Just be very careful when you apply this kind of glue. Don't use too much, don't use too little. If you use too little, it will be a mess to redo the work. So now we are going to remove it from here. Like I said before, be careful, don't touch this side because you're not going to be able to clean it that easy. This part is no big deal. The other part, yeah. Start from the top and finish on the bottom. And you have to release it like little by little. Otherwise, it might start making bubbles, and you don't want that. The bubbles usually are very hard to remove. So take your time. Go do it very slowly. Great. Now we can start like pushing very little by little, until it stays in place. Okay, now that we have it like that, we have to turn on the UV light. And now we are going to do this. Just try to keep it on the top so it will dry just that part and not the other part that are below of that. Otherwise it will be harder to finish the work, of course.
Depend of the glue, you have to leave it there for 30 seconds or maybe 15 seconds. Usually it's best if you can leave it like a minute. Once you have it there for that amount of time, you can release it, see if it is moving, if the glue moves, and then you have to put it again to the UV light until it stops moving.
Wonderful, we're almost done, so we have to do the other side, do the same thing. Now this part, we have to leave it a little bit more, and here too. Remember, like I said before, the cheap UV glue, it takes a little bit longer to dry. It's not like the other one. The other one is better, but this one, this way, the way I'm doing it right now, is the best way I have found in many months of working with the phones and everything. Okay, we have finished. It dries, so now what we are going to do is just leave it under the UV light for 15 minutes, and then we're going to clean up. You see here, there is like a little of leftovers of glue. We're going to leave it like that. When it dries out, we're going to use this just to remove it. Otherwise, if you do it now, you will spray all the glue everywhere, and it will be harder to remove. Well, 15 minutes has passed, and even more than that. We finish with the process, so we are going to clean it up. As you can see here, we have the hard glue, so that we can remove just that easy. You see? Okay, here was very little, so we have to inspect all the parts here, that there is no glue overflowing, and that the hole here where you see the camera, that is in good condition, that it doesn't have any glue. You have to see through it. So everything looks fine, so it should be okay to put it back together as it was before. So we're going to do this. Remember, we have to connect this and then these connectors, and that will be it, almost. So this is the hard part. You have to hear the click, and once it's on its place, we should be able to put the rest of the card. This is the logic board. Like I said before, we have to put everything where it was, connect the little plugs that we see here. Great, now that everything is connected, we can put the buttons where they belong. Just don't put them backwards, so check that. You see, it should fit just fine. You have to hear the clicking when you put the button, so we hear it. Now we can put the plastic, and we are almost done, so everything is in place. So we should try to put all the screws and turn the phone on and see how it works. Okay, we have done putting the screws and everything, so we're going to turn it on, see how everything works. Everything looks like it's fine. so we are going to clean it a little bit. We can use some alcohol later, you know, to clean the whole screen, but beyond that, everything looks cool. Okay, the phone works. It's kind of slow, but this is how the phone is. So all the buttons works great. So that's it. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you like it, click on like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this, fixing cell phones, technology in general. I enjoyed to give you this class and see you soon in the next one. Bye bye.